Aries symbol. Your professional duties or personal responsibilities can feel pressing in the first half of the day, dear Aries, but a good part of you would prefer to go your own way. It's not easy to focus on priorities now, as much as you might like. Look for a balance rather than pushing either one drive or the other. Watch for some tendency for news you hear to be exaggerated or to make too much of a situation. Distractions aside, you can be feeling quite optimistic. You also see options where there didn't seem to be any in the past, mainly related to big goals, career, and money matters. It may be wise to guard information for the time being, at least until you know all the details. Taurus symbol. Attention to home and family matters is stronger than usual today with the moon in your solar 4th house, dear Taurus. Still, sharing your ideas is rewarding and productive if you give others' opinions and ideas weight. The key to a stronger feeling of empowerment is seeking ways to expand your knowledge. Try not to rush the learning process today. The key to handling the day well is to avoid going over the top. Differing viewpoints, transportation problems, or frustrating instructions may bring about some tension. Keep in mind, however, that any issues cropping up today are likely to be quickly resolved if you focus on moderating your expectations and actions. Pressures to grow or improve are present, but there is no need to rush things. You may need to do some juggling, but you can also pull out something useful from even the oddest thoughts and conversations occurring now. Leave space for mental explorations. New ideas with long-term value can come to you now, and these are likely to be about the overview planning rather than the details right now. Gemini symbol. Your dreams and plans can be very grand today, dear Gemini, and it can feel good to let your imagination go. The finer details may need attention later. It's best to watch for committing to something that will probably end up draining you. You may need to reconsider and remember your usual limits when you're tempted to go above and beyond. Tensions today can also stem from feeling pressured to move forward too quickly. Avoid rushing, or you may end up only scattering your energies and accomplishing little at the end of it. It can be difficult focusing on priorities, but loosening up may benefit you now. You may need to break out of a relating rut or a particular routine that's not getting you the results you crave. Taking small steps towards making constructive changes is your best bet right now. Cancer symbol. The moon in your resources sector today points to a more vital interest in your money and talents, dear Cancer. While the day should feel good on many levels, there is some inclination to feel restless, which, in turn, can fuel the urge to go to excess. Overstating is a potential problem today. In truth, you may simply be looking for more meaning or a deeper connection to the world around you, and it makes sense for you to explore the roots of dissatisfaction, particularly in the world of relationships. Today, what you say may not accurately reflect what you genuinely want or need. You may need to deal with a competitive person or frustrating situation to boot, or there can be truth stretching occurring now. As divided as you might be, it's a good time to think up new ideas and possibilities. Leo. The moon is in your sign all day, and you're prioritizing your emotional needs, dear Leo. You are especially noticeable, and you seek more emotional stimulation than usual. You might also seek some acknowledgement of your feelings. Watch for a tendency to gloss over or neglect important details today. In your relationships, you may be wanting some drama or proof that someone cares. Alternatively, someone may be seeking this from you. You might feel you can take on a lot with work or chores, but remember that energy and time may not match your optimism. If you avoid investing too much in what you hear right now, you're more likely to enjoy yourself. Ideally, you find something to do that allows extra room for some creativity and ad-lib changes. Virgo, with the moon in your solar 12th house all day, dear Virgo, it would be wise to avoid situations that might demand too much of your emotional energy. Replenishing your stores of energy makes more sense than to push boundaries just for now. Besides, certain circumstances may very well keep you in limbo today. There's some tendency to communicate something, likely very positive but perhaps exaggerated, which can lead to complications down the road. Try not to count on plans that appear to be a little too unrealistic, but do stretch your mind and entertain bigger ideas. Restlessness may lead to excessiveness, but it's no match for your overriding need for rest, so think twice for best results. Libra, the moon spends the day in your social sector, bringing out a desire for something pleasant and non-committal, dear Libra. A focus on networking and friends can figure strongly. There may be some scattering of energies today since it's not easy to honestly know what you want, although it would be a good idea to try to uncover the source of any discontent you might feel now. You can be on the fence about whether to play things safe or take a personal risk. Aim to check in with yourself to understand whether your impulses are based on actual need and not just boredom. The tendency is to exaggerate and overstate your feelings, but this can get you into tricky territory. It's also all too easy to leave out the unpleasant details and glamorize the past, but if it's interfering with happiness today, then it's not worth it. Opening up to suggestions and recommendations for improving the present makes the most sense now, as it contributes to your happiness. Scorpio, the moon spends the day in your solar 10th house, dear Scorpio, stirring a desire for more order and purpose in your life. The need to perform is with you, although the day can have an undecided or scattered feel. Your responses to others are generous, but there is a tendency now to overstate or exaggerate, which can happen quite sincerely in the moment, but restlessness or an overestimation of your needs can be at the root. It's also all too easy to misjudge your energy to follow through on something, as motivation levels can be very high but then dip. Aim to take your time coming to conclusions but engage in some mental exercise. Misleading information aside, the day holds good-natured energy for sharing and cooperating. Sagittarius, you can be craving a break from the routine with the moon in your solar 9th house, dear Sagittarius, encouraging you to explore and discover. The trick is to avoid shooting so high that you give up too quickly, with Mercury in a minor challenging aspect with Jupiter today. A big part of you wants to settle in and enjoy a slower pace, but your curiosity and some emotional restlessness can stir the pot. There is a tendency to either communicate too much or too soon and for your mind to wander. While some wool gathering is just fine, it might also be a form of procrastination when time might be better spent focusing on current practical needs. If you can tame unproductive tendencies, the day can inspire fabulous ideas. Getting a handle on your practical affairs can be empowering. Capricorn, it may be best to avoid setting things in stone today, dear Capricorn. It can be difficult focusing on something in particular with conflicting feelings and a bit of a chaotic atmosphere around you today. You can be feeling somewhat restless and perhaps pressured to accomplish something. We can be a little more dramatic than usual today, and decisions related to money or possessions should probably wait. Aim to take your time digesting things before drawing conclusions. Watch for taking things too far, particularly with indulgences. Still, you have a way of connecting with others and making all parties concerned feel good about the connection. You have a powerful presence right now. Aquarius, you seem to be better off involving others instead of going solo today, dear Aquarius, with the moon spending the day in your partnership sector. Mercury and Jupiter transits today suggest that the temptation is strong to take on more than you should. You might count on something to come through or make promises that can eventually be difficult to keep. There can be fluctuating energy levels and moods, but pushing a decision might end up putting you behind. Part of you wants to get involved, and another wants to escape. Take your time coming to conclusions and especially making promises. Pisces, with the moon in your sector of work and health all day, dear Pisces, you can feel a strong urge to take care of routine matters today. Still, you can quickly tire of anything that feels run-of-the-mill or lacking in magic with today's transits. While you have a sincere interest in others and helping out or connecting, you may not feel like following through or taking on new commitments later on. As such, be moderate with promises, or wait and see. Today's influences can have you thinking you can do more than you truly can. Remember your limits. Take this time to understand yourself and your feelings, but avoid making big decisions now. Mental exercise can be wonderful now, however, and your thinking is standing out as particularly clever.